Hey, what's up, Hope DXP fam? My name is Fabian Martin. Different hair, same dude. And I've been given the privilege and the honor to speak on you on the topic of family matters. The title of my message is F is for Family, has nothing to do with the Netflix show. You know, I come from a mid-sized family. We've got like 14 aunts and uncles, 16 cousins, and then we have the second cousins, the third cousin, so it goes kind of into the 50s. And as a young boy, I loved, going for these functions. We would meet like on Christmas, New Year, maybe grandparents' birthdays, where we would all come together because we stayed in different parts of town. And, guys would be playing cricket, and some of the uncles would break out the guitars and sing some songs and harmonize. Great fun. And then we became believers. That was my immediate family, because we come from a Catholic background. And so we attended this one particular event, and as usual, we were going crazy, playing cricket on the road. And then I hear this door slam, and my mom walk out saying, "Well, then we're not family anymore." And we're like, Mom, what's going on? And she just walks out, she's like, "Follow me." So yes, my brother, my sister, myself, we just follow our mom, go back home, have a very boring day. And then we said, "Mom, what happened?" And she said, "No, they told us that, because we converted, we are cursed, we left the Blessed Mother, etc., etc." And we were like, "Oh, okay." And needless to say, family gatherings were totally different from then on. There's a saying in English that blood is thicker than water, but that, honestly, I feel it relates more on a physical level. But because it's the blood of Christ that actually unites us and puts us in families. There's a verse in Psalms 68:6. It says, "He sets the lonely in families." So when we become believers, converts especially, we sometimes get lonely. We don't know where to connect. So God connects us in families. As the verse says, He picks us up and puts us together. 1 Corinthians chapter 12:12. Talks about us being the body. 1 Corinthians 12:12 talks about us, the church, being a body. It says, "Just as a body, though one, has many parts, but all its many parts form one body, so it is with Christ." And it goes on to say, as you read it, that we have, the body's made up the hand, the feet, the eyes, fingers, toes. But each of us have a part to play. Though we may think that we're different, when we walk into a church, we may think, "Oh, I don't think I get along with this group." No, but it's meant to be that way. We are meant to be different because we come together and we form one body. I was actually reading an article recently which said that the pinky actually makes up 50% of the strength of your hand. And I tried it today when I was drinking a cup of tea. And I realized, my pinky actually holds that cup, and was trying to text on my phone. I realized, the pinky has its place. So though we may not find our place immediately, but each one of us, no matter what our role is, no one is better than each other. We all form part of the body with Christ as our head. Also in the church, we have many gifts. It says again in 1 Corinthians chapter 12:29, "Are all apostles? Are all prophets? Are all teachers? Do all work miracles? Do all have gifts of healing? Do all speak in tongues? Do all interpret?" The gifts come from the Holy Spirit, right? So we all have unique gifts. I wish I had interpretation of tongues, but I speak in tongues. So when we come into church, this becomes a family, right? Each one of us bring in our gifts, and we operate together as one body, and that's how we go into the world and we share the gospel. And how do we share it? We need to be connected, because we're not meant to be alone. We're meant to be plugged in, we're meant to be connected together. I'm going to tell you a short story. A couple of years ago, I had to travel to Angola on business. And as I went down there, came across immigration, they were like, "Oh, Indian passport, please come down here." I was like, nice treatment. They take me down there, put me into this waiting room, and I see tons of other Indians, Pakistanis, Chinese, Arabs. And they're like, "Oh, just wait down here because you need a separate paper and we have called your company. They're going to come and just give us the paper, and and you can leave. And now my phone was like at 10%. I had two phones back then. This was way back. We had Blackberries then. I had a Blackberry and I had an iPhone. I think it must have been an iPhone 4 or something. Both the phones were at 10%, and I was happy, Instagram, yada, yada, yada. And then when I looked around, I realized that I was the only guy in the room. Everyone had left. And when I tried to go and, check the door, I realized it was not a waiting room, it was a holding cell. And I was stuck down there, my phone was almost dying. I was like, I've got to call my colleague to come and get me, because obviously they didn't do it. But then my phone was now at 2%. I realized if I called, my phone was going to die. And then I looked around and I found another guy in the room. He was Angolan, and he seemed to be a bit of a criminal because everyone was keeping the distance from him. I ran up to the guy and I said, "Brother, I'll give you $100. Can I use your phone? I need to call someone urgently." And he was like, "Okay, who's going to say no to $100, right?" Gave him the money, called my company. They came down there, bailed me out. I didn't have to do anything. They just took me out and took me straight to the hotel. You see, having an iPhone, having a BlackBerry, good phones, but if you're going to run out of battery, you're useless. In the same way, when you have your gifts, you have your talents. When we're in the family of God, we can be useful because we are connected, we are plugged in. Our gifts and our talents are meant to be used for the service of God. So for them to be fully utilized, we need to be connected. We need to be plugged in into the Spirit of God, and we need to be plugged in with our family, which is the church. That's about it from me, guys. Have a great time at your hangout. Be blessed.